Ever wonder about the accuracy of the national news media? Whether the evening news is really a true reflection of what's going on? Hurricane Hugo will allow you to be the judge. Charleston, South Carolina replaced U.S.-Soviet relations, international summits, murders, rapes, just about everything you can think of, as all eyes were on us. But what did those eyes see? Well, here are some examples of how the city looked to the rest of the world as we look at some reports from CBS and television stations around the country telling the story of the storm.
Of a jetliner at LaGuardia Airport. We'll have more on that crash in just a moment, because right now Hurricane Hugo is pounding the coast of South Carolina, a killer storm on a deadly course. Believe it or not, the massive storm actually grew in strength over the past few hours. We understand it has become a monster, turning into 150-mile-an-hour winds. And our Mark Schumacher is right in the path of that storm. He has been undercover all night in Charleston, South Carolina. He joins us live right now. Mark?
Well, Ernie, as you can see here, I'm literally having to brace myself up against this wall. We're being buffeted here by winds right now in excess of 80 miles an hour, and it's getting worse. This dim light you see on me here is a battery light. All the power in this area is out. As you mentioned, the hurricane, the eye of the hurricane, is still about 50 miles offshore. It's not due to hit here until about 1 a.m. So what we're seeing here now still isn't the worst. The worst is yet to come. It's like turning up a faucet until the pressure is out of control. The rains that are ushering in Hurricane Hugo are slowly and methodically intensifying. These are the kind of downpours measured in feet, not inches. It's expected that when Hugo slams on shore after midnight, it will come in on a high tide and push water levels up as much as 15 feet. What the winds don't threaten, the high water will.
The storm surge is extraordinary. This is will be the largest, most severe hurricane in anyone's memory.
It's expected that before Hugo is finished with Charleston, 30 to 40% of the city's streets will be underwater. That's why the downtown area is shut down tonight. It is off limits. All that remains on city streets are sandbags and plywood draped on windows. There is plenty of activity, however, in Red Cross shelters around Charleston. 150,000 people left the city to wait out the storm inland, but thousands of others are taking refuge in shelters.
Well, I feel pretty safe here. At least they can tell us what to do and when to do it, so I feel pretty safe here.
Women, children, the elderly, all are preparing for a long night away from home. Volunteers have their hands full.
I've got several of them here that are very scared. I've got a lot of them that are on heavy medication. I've got one lady that is expecting any time, and of course I go around and comfort her as often as I can.
But at least a high school is a better alternative to this on a night when conditions will only get worse. There are reports of power outages throughout the Charleston area tonight. It's expected that that will get much worse, but so far there have been no reports of any major damage or injuries. And in the midst of all this comes the report that 4 families have ignored the mandatory evacuation of the barrier islands. They are spending the night tonight in their homes on the coast in spite of all the danger. Tracking Hurricane Hugo in Charleston, South Carolina, I'm Mark Schumacher, Channel 2 News.
Well, early reports indicate that this has been a very damaging hurricane, not only for South Carolina, but especially for Charleston. Let's get the latest now on that. Here's Ron Allen. Ron?
Morning, Kathleen. The rain has subsided, but the winds are still gusting and strong. You can see how Hugo has blown things around here pretty good and left a path of destruction in its wake. Communications have been extremely difficult this morning. The Emergency Command Center has been overwhelmed by phone calls from residents trying to assess the damage and trying to determine if it's safe for them to go home just yet. The latest situation that's developing that we've been hearing about is that there are some rescue crews en route to a residential building complex that we're told collapsed, and we were told earlier that there could be some fatalities. But this morning, the morning skies do not look threatening. The sun could perhaps even break through. It appears the worst is over. Morning is revealing the destruction left in Hugo's wake. Downtown Charleston is a low-lying coastal area. The community took a direct hit. Widespread devastation can be seen. Trees ripped up at the root. Numerous buildings, some in the historic district, crumbled by the brunt of the worst storm to hit here in a very long time. Many residents have no power this morning. In a parking lot, dozens of car windows have been shattered by flying debris. A local hotel found its sign in the lobby. The interstate highway was blocked by a shipping container. Hugo's fury became destructively evident just before midnight. Winds gusting to 135 miles per hour, dumping torrents of rain. Hugo also took a tremendous toll on the barrier islands offshore. Sullivan Island is said to be completely destroyed, and they're trying to get out there and assess the damage even further. Even the town of Florence, some 50 to 60 miles inland, is said to have been affected. There are 2 hotels there that have endured quite a bit of damage, we're told.
They've been waiting in lines for days.
I have a little grandbaby also, you know, no milk or nothing, the milk's sour.
Any messages or public information? Across town at the emergency command post, the big concern has been getting essential services together, period. But Mayor Joe Riley knows more is needed.
One housing project in the city of Charleston has 500 people that we miraculously got out. But these are all poor and elderly people, and they have nothing.
Charleston's poor people were devastated by Hugo. The debris in front of the projects, silent witness to their losses.
Okay, you can mail it to Disaster Relief in care of Gilliard Auditorium.
Only today was this phone bank set up at City Hall to coordinate all offers of help, food, and money.
I'm getting from California, New York, Ohio, New Jersey, all over the country, Michigan, Maine, California, Arizona.
Only this afternoon was a central warehouse set up at Gilliard Auditorium where donations could be delivered and trucks loaded up to send those donations to those most in need. We followed the first truck going out. At the Eastside Community Center, it was quickly unloaded.
That's going to be a vegetable table, too.
These volunteers know how desperately nearby residents need help.
All the food is spoiled because there's no refrigerator, so we don't have anything.
We will never get enough.
South Carolina's recovery from Hurricane Hugo is slow-go. Tens of thousands are still out of their homes. Hundreds of thousands still have no electricity and haven't had since the storm. Today, relief workers started handing out water, clothing, and other essentials in short supply. As Scott Pelley reports, there is no shortage of complaints that U.S. government help, and for that matter, state help, is not coming nearly fast enough.
Aid flooded into devastated coastal South Carolina today amid charges that a federal relief agency is holding up some badly needed assistance. Generators and portable housing have not been shipped, while the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, studies the area's needs, something critics argue is obvious.
This crowd's supposed to be geared up to get the help to the people, and they've absolutely been obstructionists.
This is a major crisis right now. You know, no need for them to debate about what they're going to do later. We need help now.
It is estimated 75,000 people lost their houses in the storm. But today, more than 800 federally owned house trailers remain parked outside Atlanta.
You tell me when the family comes in where the fastest way is to provide that mobile home, and I'll tell you when I'll put in my first request.
Local officials say ship now, count later.
There's plenty of great federal help. We need, however, to push the red tape process more quickly and cut it and get moving.
FEMA was involved in launching the Pentagon's highly praised efforts. The Charleston airlift began immediately, and today Marines armed with chainsaws liberated rural areas trapped in debris. Also, for the unemployed, the Labor Department approved overnight $5 million to hire cleanup workers. Most of the aid reaching the needy has come from the Red Cross and a loosely organized volunteer effort. Supplies are being shipped from across the nation.
Like everybody says, God bless America.
Officials of FEMA met with local authorities today to explain the paperwork necessary to receive federal funds. The agency says checks could be written in a few days, and equipment such as the generators and trailers may arrive next week. FEMA insists it is moving quickly, but for residents of Charleston, any delay is a long passage of time. Scott Pelley, CBS News, Charleston, South Carolina.
Every war has its villains. The villains of Hugo were the looters, the price gougers, the people who took advantage of the downtrodden among us. But every war has its heroes, the soldiers who give and expect nothing in return. Our battlefront leaders were certainly heroes, and our Commander-in-Chief, Mayor Joe Riley, certainly deserves a Medal of Honor. Then there were the others, the foot soldiers who turned the devastation into hope. It would take days to honor them all, but here are just a few. Often in a crisis, in a period of such extreme human need, the very best comes out in people. The days surrounding the onslaught of Hurricane Hugo were no exception. The heroes that have emerged here after Hugo bore its brute strength upon us are too many to count, although all deserve mention. Some were more visible than others, those who got us out, led us through the dark storm's darkest moment, and then guided us back to light. Their endless hours began long before the storm hit, and as we struggled to dig ourselves out of the aftermath, they sacrificed personal concerns, time, and sleep to place our stricken state on the road to recovery.
The storm is larger than the state of South Carolina. It is 550 miles wide. Therefore, we may have some difference in flooding, but we will still have an extremely dangerous situation, as dangerous as when this storm passed over Puerto Rico.
This is for Dorchester County. Dorchester County reiterates all mobile homes in Dorchester County are to be evacuated immediately. This is a mandatory order.
We're now moving into the most difficult time of trying to restore normalcy, which creates a lot of problems and for which we need everybody's cooperation.
It's very, very important, however, that from this time forward, we consider all downed lines as dangerous lines, as live wires. My dear friends, please protect yourselves, and please protect your children if they are out.
Not all of the heroes in the days after the storm have been so visible, but they are all around us. They are in our own backyard, and they come from far and wide in an extraordinary relief effort. Thousands of volunteers blanketed the Lowcountry and surrounding counties. They did whatever they could, bringing food, water, clothing, even shelter. No effort was too small, as materials and supplies arrived by truck, by plane, by car, in the hands of selfless givers who wanted only to help in some small way.
Why did y'all go to so much trouble? I mean, even to go to all of these schools and to ask the kids to do all that they've done?
I don't know. We ain't thought about that. We just felt like it needed to be done. And first place I seen was Folly Beach on news. No reason. We don't have no excuse, no reason. We just done it.
These fellows brought 7.5 tons of Mississippi catfish to Charleston, enough to feed close to 30,000 hungry victims.
I think any time a disaster hits in anywhere in the world, really, but especially in the United States, that the people, it's just the American way to want to come and help, and we're fortunate enough to work for a company that thinks that way too.
There you go.
Food and clothing distribution centers throughout the area were manned with National Guardsmen, the Red Cross, and a whole slew of volunteers.
They, depend upon us, a lot, and, we have to be friendly with them, and try and support them the best that we can by being down here.
This is my second disaster assignment this year and probably will not be my last.
Their efforts, of course, have not gone unnoticed, but it is not thanks they sought.
Laconia, New Hampshire, you've come a long way. Why did you decide to come here and help?
Because I feel the people down here need help, and I figured I wasn't doing nothing back home. I might as well come down and give them a hand.
A lot of folks wouldn't have done that. That kind of separates you from a lot of other folks.
Oh, I don't know. I think a lot of other people from New Hampshire would have been down here if they could have got away from their jobs and stuff to really get down here. But I happen to be out of work right now, so I just come down with a friend of mine and give a hand.
Okay, and Tom came with you. Tom, what made you decide to come down here and help us?
That's just the kind of guy I am.
Mainly we just focused on getting trees up, limbs and trees off of houses. We did a few up in I guess the south. Keep it pretty busy though.
Do you ever think in the back of your mind that if something like this happened in South Bend, you would hope some other folks would come up? Did you think a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, it has crossed my mind, but it's just the fact that we came down to see what we can do, not hoping that anything would happen to us that we might even need.
This woman says she couldn't forget what she saw. Returning home to New Jersey after Hugo interrupted her Isle of Palms vacation, so 1 week later, she returned to South Carolina's Lowcountry, bringing with her not beach blankets and sand chairs, but 18 truckloads of supplies for those people so hard hit in McClellanville.
I called the United Way, and I called the Salvation Army, and I called the Red Cross, and all they told me to do was send checks, and I didn't want to do that. So at the Red Cross, I left my name, and I said, if you hear from anybody else in Ocean County, please tell them there is a person who would like to give something. And the lady said, geez. About 15 minutes ago, a call like that came in, and as a result of that, from the people in Ocean County, this is what's resulted.
Oh, we've seen people so grateful. We've seen some people we ask, what do you need? And they say, just a loaf of bread or just a flashlight. But what else do you need? Did you lose your home? Yes. And they just don't want, they're not coming in taking everything. They're sharing, and it's just a community, fellowship community here.
I've never seen nothing, like this before. Not to say, from the storm, I'm sorry the storm came, but, God has his way of doing things and a way to bring us together. All I can say is thank God for bringing us together.
I've had people who are from afar that are doing these kinds of things thank me for giving them the opportunity. Their charity and generosity extends so far beyond anything that one could possibly imagine when they thank us, when it is us who must be thanking them.